Good morning, everybody. Well, mixed markets again. Uh, S&Ps, transports, Dow, all look like they should go higher. Um, Attempt to go down last week, looking at the weekly chart down here of the futures, and they went down below prior week's low, came back to close at the high. This has been going up for a while. Now, if we had that exact bar, like coming out like this one, it comes off of a low here, what we call a correction bar. It's a very high probability setup. It's going higher. Now that did result, and it did eventually got higher, but some wild chop. But this market has been that way this year. A lot of choppy price action, and it went higher. So now things tightened up. That's what we talked about a couple of weeks ago when this pattern had formed. I said things got to tighten up, and they did. They
Hey,
broke out.
Greg, your charts.
Ah, why didn't somebody say something? I'm kidding, Dan. Um, as I was talking about the weekly chart there, and this bottoming tail bar that broke the lows. No, it typically results in a move going higher, and that certainly might be the case where this could be a measure type of move to the upside. But we like to see this kind of a bar at the beginning of a move as a correction bar. So a momentum move begins to happen, and historically, when they occur after corrective price action, that's more the norm versus, many would expect, oh, we're going to get a pullback to, what was resistance becomes support. Not most of the time. Correction bars or 180 reversals are the type of patterns that form in a stronger trend. You get fewer pivots. So while we've got a correction bar, this is after several weeks up, some sideways price action. So now we're going to see, does this follow through? This morning it's a little kind of slow and really not going anywhere. You can see on the hourly chart, it's kind of going sideways. So what the market's waiting for, I'm not sure, but it's just sideways price action here. If it breaks out, we'll get to SPX, but anyway, if it breaks out 4250-ish, I think it'll be a pretty stiff resistance area based on the number and open interest. Down below this low, if we should see that, it's like our common sense, what we call factory work. We've got a wide range or range expansion bottoming tail bar. The deeper prices push into that and close into it, the more it begins to negate the pattern. Right. So it's Monday morning. We'll see how things unfold. We've got, our major line in the sand right down here where prices should not go to. If it begins to retrace, there should be buyers on the dip at 4,200. That whole number had a hard time getting through it. Should provide support at this level, and we don't want to see it keep retracing here. And obviously, based on the weekly chart, we should see it clear this level and start inching up. And just lots of erratic price action for the moment. So SPX, not getting we don't get the new bar, but there was the poke up into the end of the day. I can't see, this was 4250. That's pretty tight, and there isn't a lot of premium up there. So I'm skeptical I wouldn't do a call spread down below 4145. I think it's pretty safe. There's a little premium in 4150. Let's see, 4150. No, there's nothing there. It'll go like 41.95. So that isn't too far away. And if this begins to fail, so my initial looking at this and the premiums, I think it's probably best, as always, we wait a little while to see which way things go. But initially, I wouldn't do anything because it's just too tight. All right. YM up 82. It continues to be the outperformer. 35,000 within striking distance. Just biting the dip. Look at the red bar ignored, and it's a wide range red bar, and just right back up again. Sideways like the S&Ps. You got a big wide range bar there. So the S&P was a bottoming tail bar. This is just a wide range bar. And same story. Don't close more than 50% into it. So weekly chart gets down below it. You got a short-term top in. Qs are down. They've been the weakest. They came down to the 50. It's minor support. They pop back up into what's now resistance. They're weak here. And so you've got technology, the XLK weak. You've got software weak. Communications is a little stronger, but questionable. So everywhere tech related is under some degree of pressure. Semiconductors. Now, the weekly chart just barely made this new high and started to come in, but this isn't such a bearish pattern the way this is pulling back here, and it's got a bottoming tail bar. So, while the daily chart has broken support and its uptrend, this weekly chart is one in which this theoretically, just based on this uptrend, should back and fill over here to get away from this area and then move higher based on the weekly. Now, and even if it breaks down here, I'm not so sure that's going to negate any of that. So, it's really more wait and see. So I would kind of like it, tell you the truth, the kind of pattern where you've got this questionable situation, right? Because it's lagging, and then it breaks down. Now it's at resistance. There's going to be sellers. So coming down here and breaking this low and then beginning to turn is an almost ideal type of a pattern where you've got, the weekly looking okay and the daily looking questionable. So if I had my wishes, not that the market gives us the thing we want, but I would like to see this come down here and break the low and then begin to make the turn. And that would kind of take out some stops, move further away from this resistance area. And, the concept of the void is based on price movement and time. So a little bit more down and sideways time would open up the possibility based on the weekly to at least test this or possibly make it up. So that's a long ways off, but right now looking for this to come down here to test this area makes sense to me. 330 on the Qs, support. Well, maybe so, based on spot gamma and put walls and all of that. I don't think it was going to be such a strong reference point. Maybe for intraday scalps to trade against, and it's near the bottom of last week's low. When you can see the same weekly uptrend and the whole number. So the whole pattern is one in which could easily flip flop on you one way or the other. And I think that's kind of the theme going into this week. The S&P's resistance, well, it's in an uptrend, not that far off, support not that far off. You've got, technology, which, all last year and before that leading the way, and now under pressure, semiconductors across the board. We saw what happened with Microsoft. So you look at those sectors, those ETFs, and I mean, these are not good looking charts. They're all over the place where, break out and a deep move back down into support. And obviously looks like the Qs, you know, stopping at the 50, now stuck in between support and resistance. So, we're not going into this week with no brainer setups, that's for sure. And of course, the Russell, that's been all over the place. This is a, up, down, up, breakdown failure, breakout failure, bottoming tail, resistance. And just look at the weekly. If you just put this on a line chart, say, well, it's done nothing for like 8 weeks, just going sideways in the same place. Bonds are up a little bit. I don't know if that's real. Kind of looks like real. They're on the 60-minute. Rejection coming back in again. Closing prices around the same area. 10-year. Yeah, so that's real. See if it breaks out. See if it can stay there. Obviously, was rejected. The weekly chart going nowhere. Oil going up. I read another pipeline getting closed down based on cyber attacks. They close it down. Well, I guess it's a good thing that this isn't even further up. You got new administration closing down pipelines, cyber attacks closing down pipelines. It's like, what's going on here? Gold made this nice move. Now coming up into resistance. So 200 MA up there. It's probably late in the game to be thinking anything to get on board. Silver, getting closer to resistance. And transport's just amazing. Just this self-correcting uptrend. Right? It was defined by lots of overlapping bars, tails, and then a range expansion bar on Friday. So clearly bullish. When you get a bar like this within an uptrend, of course, it suggests it's going to go higher. So it better. Meaning if it breaks down under that bar, everybody knows it was a fake out move. So I don't know that it will, but factory work, if it closes more than 50%, it's questionable. Now, because it's a breakout, you've got this consolidation. If today turns out to be an inside day, it opens the potential to be a breakout bar failure. So if it's an inside day, the bullish scenario and what we look for is a 1, 2, 3 continuation pattern. Now, the ideal scenario for 1, 2, 3 continuation patterns happen at the beginning of a move or in the middle of a move. But this thing's been trending up all year. So a 1, 2, 3 continuation pattern at this part within the trend and beginning to move away from the 20 MA is not the highest probability as if it happens at the beginning or in the middle. So an inside day, and then where it breaks the low of the inside day, it's a subtle failure beginning, right? So we'll see how things set up today. If it is an inside day, then tomorrow it'll be like, well, if it breaks that low, right, possible breakout bar failure. Right? If it takes out the high, well, maybe it's on its way to 300. So as we go through all of these charts today, everything's basically starting off a little lethargic, and we'll see how things unfold. All yours, Dan.
All right, good morning. Yeah, the Dow continues to power. All right, so our only problem child if opens right now. We have one nice gift, deer. I said pre-market. We sold a third into strength. That was a beautiful breakout we got into on Thursday. But Facebook here with the Qs weak, Facebook is gapping down on a downgrade. We have a put spread on that. Don't like the gap in pre-market action. So, we'll watch it. Maybe leg into a condor. Microsoft, we were watching a put spread on the gap up on Friday, and I wanted price improvement, and we never got filled. So I'm gonna watch that to make, I just want to watch it and not step in front of anything until I see stabilization. So Steve, as I mentioned on your list there, CSTM, that's this Wednesday, MT Live is continuation patterns. So this actually is a good example. Had two big wide range breakouts. So that's the rocket ship breakout. So now how do you get on board? You get on board either with a continuation pattern or a bullish smaller time frame entry. That reminds me, I'm going to add that concept to our presentation. Housing stocks here. Yeah, KVH looks awesome. A nice wide range, engulfing, igniting. This is what we call an end of day rally though. Since that's just straight up. And we prefer end of day bases. So this would be a better 1, 2, 3. Thomas KBH up, I'm showing right now. Also DHI on his list looks good. It's actually a tad bit stronger, both in the daily chart and with the gap up. Rig was up, now coming in a little bit, so that might be an ideal 1, 2, 3. Cliff Clavin, yeah, I was looking at FCX. Hey, Greg, do you remember when we were talking about giving core long X right down here? Look at that, right there. We were talking about it.
And why did we do it?
Because you said it was at resistance. But look at XLB, gap in here, all-time highs, commodities, these are metals ETFs. And, we've been talking about inflation and all over the place. And I'm sure some of you could tell my frustration with the Fed and politics and the weekend commentary and the ETF and weekly letter. But I just think it's such BS the way they just sit there they're all reading from the same talking sheet. Oh, any inflation is transitory, temporary, don't worry about it. So there were like 3 articles in the journal today, one on the front page, about inflation's everywhere. I mean, you live in a hole if you don't see it. There was even an article in there that said diapers, everything costs more, which is what happens in inflation and printing press. You print more dollars, and guess what? The buying power of the dollar sitting in your bank account go down. It doesn't take a rocket man to figure that out. All right, so this Marriott had earnings, big fat sideways trading range, nothing to do there. Jose, IRM, PPG. Yeah, we're actually in IRM. Yeah, but it is a 1, 2, 3 to add. So yeah, IRM looks good. PPG, that's a 1, 2, 3 also. That's holding like a tank there, four bars in the upper part of the fat bar.
Do you have a live chart, Dan? There, is that chart like whatever's going pre-market where it's at. The reason I'm asking is I'm going through the gap list and almost every gap up is getting sold. Like Juniper, different stocks that gapped up above even Red Bar's highs, and they're all the way back down to the lows again. So I don't know, that needs to be
Well,
a
well,
sign about
this shows
today.
pre-market on Juniper here. I don't see much pre-market volume, so I can't tell on that one. All right, John, I'll email that to myself and look at it when we slow down. And Steve gave me a list too. Jose Rollins and Nvidia. Nvidia, it's a 1, 2, 3. And we actually like the 1, 2, 3s that have a red inside bar, because then it's a little bit of a shock pattern when it goes over that, and it's from consolidation. So that's not bad. Rawlings, not crazy about it. It is a buy setup, but it didn't come in a fluid manner. NVAX, it's gapping down here, but it's all over the place. Oh yeah, Ether. Yeah, Jake pointed this out. That's Ether, ETF, is making new all-time highs. The currency is, and well, this is too. But wow, this is reminding me of. Well, that's not an all-time high. I take that back. Getting short-term extended for sure. Actually, my IRM alarm went off, so that still looks good. They are SLBK. I don't see a symbol for SLBK. Maybe you mean SBLK? Could that be a typo? S block? Strong uptrend. NVSA. There's no volume here. No volumes. Forget about it. Our blocks here. Sloppy new IPO. But it possibly could set up for day trade after this multi-bar sell-off, but not my style. UMN. Bullish 15, it's up 2 big bars, so just day trade. Day trade 15-minute high, you're coming to major resistance. PDD, I posted as a short watch. It's not earnings, so I don't know what the news is, but it's gapping under last week's low. So we'll watch maybe 30-minute low, either short the stock on a bounce or a call spread. Run AG daily continuation. Not well. It's kind of a pseudo 1, 2, 3-ish. With a true 1, 2, 3, you need it has to be an inside bar, but you got no. You don't have a good price void. You got a wall of resistance to the left. Compare that to our, look, compare it to this. You got railroad track 2050. You got a gap over a red bar. You got a shock pattern. You got a closing new high. So I like this one a lot better. Oh, HE was my next stock. Had earnings. There's their IRM. Oh, SIL. Somebody emailed me. Is a 1, 2, 3 also. So still this silver. It's coming at this prior high, but looks like I might go to 47. IWM alarm. IWM's having a nice comeback here. TTD getting whacked on earnings. It was up. Wow, look at the range of that pre-market. It was over $700 and now it's 565. That's a big range. CBAC, very sloppy here, but a nice gap. Good 30-minute high, maybe be a day trade. CCO. All right, this one had earnings, but I actually like this one. Big move and kind of a bull rectangle, if you will. But now the gap's messing it up, so I got no interest. TSM gapping down. That's an ADR. You know, technology, obviously. Technology, semis have been lagging. Whiskey Bravo gapping up, but no price void. I can't tell where it's opening, but possible breakout from multi-week trading range. AEO was mentioned, and Barron's. And that's a nice little consolidation pattern with a price void. You can watch that on the pullback to minor support. This was mentioned in Barron's. Keep an eye on this wide range breakout. This had earnings, but that's a nasty downtrend right there. Green bars ignored. Look at that. There's it's hard to find two green bars in a row. Steva, nasty gap down. Blur. All right, Q's gapping down, and there's air below. But yeah, I like Fleur 5-minute high. I made a chart for our continuation pattern because it was up 4 bars, but Friday's reversal makes it the continuation pattern. IPO. You need a big stop. Need a big stop, Jake, because look at the 15-minute chart. There's no support nearby. Q's selling off. Not like on Facebook.